Thank you for visiting Cedar Point, America's roller coast. I heard that phrase a lot in the summer of 1996 when I worked at Cedar Point in the sulfur-smelling Sandusky, Ohio. A very romantic place for all of us, to be sure. And, it was during that summer that I learned about OCing, which is pretty much the worst thing that can happen to someone in food service. It means you're working from open to close. And I learned that the only way to survive that kind of a shift is by dating a chef. So that, you can be like, hey, baby, can you slip me a jalapeno popper over here on the side? It's been 8 hours since my last meal. But in any event, it was a fantastic summer of 96. I had 19, count them, 19 roommates in a 4-bedroom apartment that was, company housing. And it was, you got really real at that point, like, go ahead and poop while I'm showering. Go ahead and just let me know when you gotta go have sex and I'll stay out of the room for a couple of hours, right? But during that time, that was when the Sky Coaster was getting really popular, right? And the Sky Coaster, for those of you who aren't aware, is like, picture the arch in St. Louis, and it's just got these 2 long steel cords hanging down from the middle of it, and you kind of strap into like a harness, like you're gonna bungee jump, and then they start to just crank this like machine, right? And you flop onto your stomach in this harness, right? And you're with a friend, and they're cranking this machine back up until you get to the very top of this release point where you pull your ripcord and go flying through the air on a pendulum swing. And it's sort of supposed to be a cross between bungee jumping and skydiving and all of the things. And of course, I'm 20, so I'm invincible, right? That's what we all believed, at least back then. And I had a very hot friend. And everybody needs a hot friend, right? The one that's like, you go to the bar and everyone's coming up to her and you're like, your sloppy seconds are people I could never get. So like, I am totally happy to have you here with me. And my hot friend's name was Janet. And Janet, of course, got all the guys. She had multiple. We had to distinguish between her boyfriend's name Scott that summer because she was dating multiple Scotts. But, attractive people, the attractiveness halo theory, that sociology theory that says we are more inclined to believe things that people say when they are hot versus when they're not hot. Janet was very convincing, and she tells me, she's like, the Sky Coaster thing they're putting in, well, it's free for employees so that we can test it out to make sure it's safe. Which, at the current age of 47, I would never consider, but at 20, I was like, it's free? Hell yeah, man, let's go. So we show up at the Sky Coaster, and I'm looking up at this bitch like, oh, hell no, right? I've already had a couple of cocktails, and Janet's like, it's gonna be fine, like, don't worry, it's all good. I'm like, all right. So we get up to the platform, and of course, all of the people working there are hitting on Janet because she's so hot. So I'm thinking, well, they're not gonna hurt the hot chick, right? And I'm riding with her. So we're like there, and we like link arms, and one of you has to pull the ripcord. And I was like, Janet, I'm not pulling the ripcord. She's like, all right, don't worry, I got us. It's gonna be fine. I'm like, all right. So they start cranking us up, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. Oh my God, I don't think I can do this. And Janet goes, hey, Chad, I'm like super high on muscle relaxers right now. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And she's pulling the ripcord. And it's like, shh. And I'm like, Janet. And I'm about to say, don't, I can't, I'm scared, I wanna go. And she just goes, and rips that thing. And we go flying. Now, I had been skydiving before, and you're so high when you jump out of the plane, and you're so high off the ground that it doesn't seem like you're getting closer. You're just flying through the air, right? But in this case, you're plummeting towards cement and you can't feel anything catching you like for at least 3 seconds, which was the longest 3 seconds of my life. Janet's laughing maniacally and I'm just like scared to death. But then we swing, I feel that cord catch and we swing through and we like grab our hands together at the top and we're screaming, you know, and it felt so liberating that I was like, okay, damn, I want to do that again. And I realized that the moral of the story in all of this is, you can trust your friends even when they're hot and high.